The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. This lesson contains 10 characters, 6 of which are based on a simple combination of bu and dao. Bu, you will recall from lesson 15, indicates divination, the interpretation of cracks appearing on the flat shoulder bones of oxen or the flat underside of tortoise shells after being heated over a fire. Here's a quick review. Dao from lesson 50 is a simple knife. Together, bu plus dao depict the preparations for divination. In other words, the work of scraping the bone or shell clean of flesh before starting the divination ritual. This character is pronounced either fourth tone, zha, zha, or zuo, zuo, depending on the character in which it appears. The original meaning was to prepare, to make ready for the fire. Pronounced zha, and now meaning at first or the first time. When held over flames, this bone or shell would suddenly crack and split in response to the question put to the spirit world, giving zha its second connotation of suddenly appear or abruptly reveal. Zha qing zha yu means unstable weather. One moment the sun shining, and the next it's raining. Zha kan zhi xia can be expressed in English as on the surface, on the face of it, ostensibly or superficially, literally at the moment of a sudden look. 乍看之下，两者很相像. At first glance, they look quite similar. The second character in this lesson takes 乍 as phonetic and pairs it with the speech radical 言. Together they imply deceptive speaking, cheating or fraud. Literally, speech which at the moment sounds true but is later discovered to be false. It's also pronounced fourth tone, 诈. 诈财 means to swindle, cheat someone out of their money. 你别想诈财，生财之道不是这个吧? Don't go swindling people. That's not the way to make money. Today's third character combines the phonetic with the fire radical, 火. It's also pronounced fourth tone, 炸, when it means to explode, but second tone, 炸, when it refers to frying in hot oil. Apparently, the 炸 phonetic was chosen because of the sudden blast of an explosion and the sudden blast when raw food hits boiling oil. No one can be sure because many of these characters were created 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. Anyway, here's one example of each meaning. 你不开门的话，我就把它炸开. If you don't open this door, I'll blast it open. 我不吃炸的. I don't eat deep-fried foods. We learned future time expressions for the day after tomorrow, 后天, and 2 days from today, 大后天, in lesson 57. Now we can finally learn the character for yesterday, the pictogram of a sun with phonetic 做, the alternate pronunciation of 炸. This new combination is pronounced second tone, 左, 左. Yesterday, according to my Chinese dictionary, contains this phonetic because suddenness implies a short time, such as the interval between today and the day just gone by. Here are two examples. 他就是昨天爬走我手机的人。He's the guy who stole my cell phone yesterday. Remember that Chinese time expressions appear near the beginning of sentences due to the lack of tenses in the language. English generally places them at the end of the phrase. 他昨天看到我时，连头也不点一下。When she saw me yesterday, she didn't even bother to nod. Now that we have the character for yesterday, it only seems appropriate to add the character for tomorrow, since its components are already familiar to anyone who has followed these lessons from the start. This character is composed of either a primitive window of interwoven reeds or the sun, along with the pictogram for the moon. Both versions are found in oracle bone writings from 3,000 years ago. The sun plus moon is by far the more common today, but I also show you the window plus moon version, as it's often found on temple wall inscriptions and calligraphy scrolls. The idea is bright moonlight shining through the window of a dark room in the first version, and in the second, the pairing of the sun and moon to indicate the brightest objects in the sky. Either way, this character is pronounced second tone, ming, ming, with the basic meaning of bright light and its many associated connotations. Tomorrow is 明天, literally, the day which is a brightening. 今天能完成的事，不要拖到明天。Don't put off till tomorrow what can be accomplished today. 明日 can also mean tomorrow or possibly the near future. 我跟你打赌，他一定成为明日之星。I'm willing to bet you he'll be very famous someday. 不明 means unclear or unknown, as in this phrase. 去向不明 whereabouts unknown. When repeated, 明明 serves as an adverb, meaning clearly or obviously. 他明明是本地人，不可能不知道的。He's clearly a person from around here. He must know. 他明明知道，就是不想拖累其他人。She definitely knows, but doesn't want to implicate anyone else. Paired with 显, 明显, we have an adjective for clear or obvious. 牛肉跟素牛肉有明显的差别。Beef and vegetarian beef are very noticeably different. 明星 is a famous star in any field, such as sports or films. 他若成为明星，是因为父母的关系。If he makes it as a star, it's due to his parents' connections. If you want to specify a movie star, 电影明星 is the phrase you need. It can be shortened to simply 影星。他女友是个鼎鼎大名的电影明星。His girlfriend is a very well-known movie star. Combined with 白, the color white, 明白, Chinese has a useful verb meaning to understand or to realize. Similar to English, it suddenly dawned on me. It's also used as an adjective for clear, frank, or explicit. 你明白我的意思吗? Do you see what I'm getting at? 我不明白为何会连累到我。I can't figure out why this has anything to do with me. 明白人 is a reasonable, sensible person. literally someone who understands the situation. 你是明白人，不必跟你多说。You're a reasonable person, so there's no need to explain further. 说明 means to explain or to illustrate. 他恼怒的目光足以说明一切。The furious look in her eyes was sufficient to explain everything. Brightness and clarity naturally mean we can see the world around us very well. And when these attributes are lost, we become blind. 失明 therefore means to be or become blind. 她从出生就失明了。She's been blind since birth. 为了失明的用户，有点字的说明书。For our blind or visually challenged customers, there are instructions in Braille. Notice how to say explanations or instruction manual, 说明书 and Braille, 点字。精明 refers to someone who's keen, sharp, clever, or bright. 她是个十分精明的生意人。She's a tremendously canny businesswoman. 英明 usually refers to a wise or sagacious ruler or monarch. 英明伟大的国王 a great and wise king. 高明 is more suited to us commoners and means clever, brilliant, or highly qualified. 他没有你想象中的这么高明。He's not as brilliant as you imagine him to be. 你把我看得太高明了。You've made me out to be more clever than I really am. Now we return to another character based on phonetic 乍. Only this time it's combined with the heart radical underneath. It's pronounced third tone, 怎, 怎, and is a question word meaning how, why, or what in English. A question suddenly appearing in one's mind. It's very often attached to unstressed ma, together pronounced 怎么, as in these examples. 五花肉怎么卖? How much is pork belly? Literally, how is pork belly sold? Notice how the N of 怎 is dropped in the expression 怎么. 他们怎么会知道这件事? How is it that they know about this matter? 怎么回事 or 怎么一回事 both mean, what's all this about? 你今天心事重重，这是怎么回事? Got a load on your shoulders today? What's the matter? 你怎么了 is a sentence often used to express one's concern on noticing another person's discomfort or displeasure. Depending on the intonation, it can show either concern or contempt. Adding 你 is perfectly fine in Chinese. 你怎么了? However, adding you in English translation, what's the matter with you, would sound very critical and accusatory to a native English speaker. Another tricky example is 你怎么搞的? This sentence is often spoken in exasperation, translating as, what on earth have you done? And finally, the negatives 不怎么 and 没怎么 indicate that something is not up to or down to some standard. For example, 不怎么好 is not so good, while 不怎么累 is not too tired. 你这个主意不怎么高明 Your idea is not all that brilliant. In other words, it leaves a lot to be desired. 怎么 is an extremely common expression and is often used in conjunction with another character coming up later in this lesson. But first, we need to learn its various components, beginning with this next character. This is a pictogram of two streams converging into a large river. Pronounced third tone, yong, yong. The idea is that by coming together, smaller tributaries become a large river, which continues on and on until it reaches the sea. From this image, Chinese derives the meaning of long in time, forever, eternal, permanent. 永久 means eternal or forever. 这是我们永久的问题. This is our never-ending problem. 永不 is one way to say never. 他没什么成就，因为他永不知足. She has no accomplishments because she's never satisfied. 我永不会像你这么迷信. I'll never be as superstitious as you are. 这件事情，你家人永不能知道. Your family must never find out about this. 永别 means to part forever, never to meet again, or be parted by death. 这是分手而已，可不是永别. This is only a separation. It's not going to be forever. Now that we have yong, we can review yang, the character for a sheep or goat, and then combine the two into a new phonetic. With the addition of the tree radical, this character used to refer to acorns, the fruit of the oak tree, and then was borrowed for a new role as the character for the appearance or shape of something, a pattern, form, or sample. It's pronounced fourth tone, yang, yang. 一个样子, and its abbreviated version, 一样, both mean the same, literally one shape. 你跟她一样, you're the same as she is. 这样 means this kind or this type. 像他这样的男人成不了大事. This type of man will never amount to much. 看样子 is one way to say it looks like something is about to happen. 看样子她几乎要气炸了. It looked like she was about to go ballistic. 没有两样, and its shorter version, 没两样, mean that two things are the same. There's no difference. They're not two of a kind. They're the same. 你的生意跟诈财没两样. Your business is in no way different from outright fraud. We've seen before that doubling a character is a form of emphasis. So, 样样 means each and every one of something. 他看我的货品样样都不顺眼. She found fault with every one of my products. Remember that 顺眼 means easy on the eye, pleasant to look at. So its opposite, 看不顺眼, would naturally mean displeased, when looking at someone or something. 要是想样样都看，你得花几个小时。If you want to check each one, you'll have to spend several hours. 像样 literally means to look like it should look, or in other words, to be presentable or decent. 爸，你没有像样一点的背心吗？ Dad, don't you have a more presentable-looking vest to wear? When something loses its original shape or outline, this can be expressed by 走样, literally, the shape went away. 本来的计划已走样了. This deviates completely from the original plan. 妈妈的好意在你口中完全走样了. The way you say it, you've totally distorted Mom's good intentions. 花样 means a style or model, but when used with 耍, the meaning changes to play a trick on someone, and not in a good way. 别想跟我耍花样了. Don't even think about getting up to any tricks with me. And now we have an extremely common phrase, 怎么样, or its abbreviation, 怎样. 我要怎样你才会相信我? What can I do to get you to believe me? Literally, how can I go about this? 你想要怎么样? And just what are you gonna do about it, huh? From that brusque intonation, you can tell them's fightin' words. It all depends on the tone of voice. For the 9th character in this lesson, we have the person radical paired with today's phonetic, the combination of which is pronounced fourth tone, 做, 做. From the original pictogram for 炸, we can observe the scraping and preparing of an ox bone or tortoise shell for divination. With the addition of a person, it's believed to show the priest or the diviner at work getting the materials ready for the heating process. Today, this character means to do, make, act, and even to compose. We'll start with the meaning of composing literary works. 作者 and 作家 both mean writer or author. 作品 and 著作 are his or her written works. 创作 is a person's creative, artistic, or literary work. 你认为作者的用意是什么? What do you think the author's intention was? 从作家的作品可以看出作家其人. You can determine what kind of person an author is from his or her writings. 创作这本书是在追念一件往事. The creative spark for this book was a nostalgic journey into the author's past. 很多人在看这名作古作家的著作. Many people are reading this deceased author's works. 作古, of course, is a rather formal way of saying a person has died or passed away. 工作 is the usual way to say a job, or as a verb, to work. 如今一份像样的工作不好找. It's not easy to find a decent job nowadays. 作用 as a verb means to act upon, as a noun, an effect. function or intention. 大使这样说话是有作用的. That remark wasn't out of the blue. The ambassador said it for a specific reason. 动作 means an action or a gesture. 哥哥的动作跟爸爸完全一样. My brother's gestures are exactly the same as Dad's. We learned before that 主 means host, owner, or master. So 做主 means to decide, to take responsibility for a decision. 这件事情我做不了主. I'm not the one responsible for making this decision. Or, I'm not in a position to decide. A useful four-character idiom is 小题大做. Literally, turn a small problem into a big one. 你何必小题大做? There's no need to make a big deal out of this. 大家好像有一点小题大做了吧? It seems we're making a mountain out of a molehill. The 10th and final character in today's lesson is the reverse direction of 涌. In other words, a river diverging into two smaller streams. Pronounced fourth tone, 派, pai. Unsurprisingly, as a verb it means to assign, dispatch, or send someone off to do something. As a noun, however, it means a splinter group, clique, or faction, the result of a divergence of views. In politics, most governments have at least two opposing wings or camps, originally seated on the right and on the left. These are directly translated from Western political thought. 左派 and 右派 for leftists and rightists. 流派 usually translates as a school of thought, 派系 as a faction. 中国书法有几个主要的流派. Chinese calligraphy has several major schools of thought. 儒家思想分为若干少派系. Confucian thought is divided into several small factions. 分派, or sometimes simply 派, mean to assign jobs and send people off to do them. 工作不是我负责分派的. I'm not the one responsible for assigning the work. 马桶不通，请派人来看. The toilet's stopped up. Please send someone to check it out. 气派 refers to a person's style or manner, their bearing or comportment. 她的男朋友显得很有才气跟气派. Her boyfriend appears very talented and refined. And finally, we have 派头, another phrase for a person's style or manner. 他的派头不小. He puts on quite a show, such as flaunting his fame or wealth. 他高高在上, 派头十足. This fellow comes off as distant and self-important. That's the negative meaning. If referring to a president or a high official, it could very well mean the opposite, that this person appears very distinguished and has a dignified air about them. Here is our color chart with today's 10 characters. 乍做左怎做明勇炸炸炸 yang, and pi. Here's a recap from today's lesson. To save time, I will no longer repeat the phrases introduced in the lesson. 1. 6 of the 10 characters in this lesson are based on 炸 or 做, meaning to get ready for the divination ritual. It was the original character that now adds the person radical to mean to make or to do. As a standalone character, 炸 is used to mean suddenly or abruptly. 2. 炸 paired with the speech radical means something that on the face of it sounds true but turns out to be a lie. 3. In combination with the fire radical, we get another 炸, meaning either to explode or second tone 炸, to deep fry. 4. When the sun is added to today's phonetic, we get the character for yesterday, 昨. 5. Since I introduced the character for yesterday, its future counterpart is tomorrow, based on a window with the moon shining through, indicating brightness, 明. The window was sometimes replaced with the sun to show the 2 brightest orbs in the sky. 6. The character 怎 is often combined with neutral tone 么 in 怎么 to express how, why, or what. It represents a question that pops suddenly into one's mind. 7. Third tone 永 was introduced because it's part of the character 样, which is often found with 怎么. 永 shows small tributaries joining with a larger river that flows onward to the sea, giving this character the meaning of long in time, forever, permanently. 8. The character 样 once referred to an oak tree, but was later repurposed to mean appearance or shape. 9. A person radical with 炸 is pronounced 做 and is one of the verbs for to do or to make, based on the idea of a person preparing materials for the divination rites. 10. Since we've learned 永, we might as well learn its reverse direction, 派, a river diverging into 2 smaller streams, now meaning as a verb to assign, dispatch, or send someone to do something, and as a noun meaning a group, clique, or faction. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.